Commissioner, thank you very much for joining us and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Leanne, and good morning to the viewers.
Commissioner, little is known about the Public Service Commission, which is the only Chapter 10 institution. What is it about, and why did it take it upon itself to host this three-day conference on developmental states?
Yeah, the Public Service Commission is a constitutional institution, independent, and is covered in Chapter 10 of the Constitution. Its aim is to monitor and evaluate the organization of the public service and to ensure that the public service abides by the values and principles as enshrined in Chapter 10 of the Constitution. Yeah. And that includes that the public service must be development-oriented and that the public service must be effective, efficient, and economic in the use of resources, and that it must be representative of the broad population of the people of South Africa.
Yeah. In terms of a developmental state, let's give a definition. How would you describe it?
We are convening the Developmental State conference, and then the theme of the conference is building a capable, career-oriented, and professional public service to underpin capable and development state in South Africa. Developmental state means the state that will have its agenda developmental goals. Like, for example, in South Africa, we come from apartheid and colonialism, so we have to transform the economy in South Africa to ensure that the people who were excluded in their participation in the economy are now included, and that the public service serve the people in a fair way, and it uses the resources properly.
Well, you know, I mean, it goes without saying, I think most people do know this, South Africa is richly endowed with a wealth of resources, but we've got a skills deficiency and state inefficiencies. How is something like this three-day conference going to address the situation and expect to, I don't know, put measures in place to turn it around?
The transformation project is definitely not a short one. It's a long-term process. We started in 1994, and in 1994, the civil service was dominated by apartheid people, those who were appointed by the apartheid regime. And then we had to transform the public service. So in the process, we expected that some people will voluntarily leave the system, but of course there was an agreement that for the 5 years, from 1994 to 1999, the jobs of those civil servants of the apartheid regime will be guaranteed. And then we had to introduce new public servants who come in from the liberation movement generally. And thus, in the process, the public service became bloated. But some left the system and continue to live in the system. And then, as a result, it is not as efficient and effective as we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And therefore, this conference, learning from the experiences of countries like Brazil, China, Malaysia, and Botswana, which had this similar project that we are getting into, will be able to address these deficiencies and then ensure that the public service is effective, efficient, and it has the public servants who are capable to deliver.
How do we do that, Commissioner?
The constitutional mandate.
How do we do that? I mean, you mentioned countries like Brazil, Malaysia, China. I mean, if we look at China, just 50 years ago, China was in a very similar position to South Africa. And look at China now. What did they do? What did they do right?
One of the fundamental things is to have, over and above the universities and colleges that we have, that we establish a national school of government. And in that national school of government, we want to make sure that those who come from universities and colleges are now given the values and the principles of the public service, and they are trained on professionalism in the public service, because it is not something that you can just get from the universities and technicons. So this school of government will be able to make sure that there is ongoing training of public servants, and that they abide by the code of conduct, and then if not, they are disciplined, and then move in that direction.
All right, Michael Seloane, thank you very, very much for talking to us. I know it's a long conversation to be had, but good luck with the conference, 3-day conference coming up for developing states. The Commissioner, Michael Seloane of the Public Service Commission, talking to us. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Quick break. We'll see you after this. Stay tuned.